Well, I guess the thing is with Luis Suarez is that you got to take the rough with the smooth. There's no doubt about it that he is one of the premier strikers in the world at the moment, but he's always had that edge to him. This is a guy who's always played his game right on the very, very edge. And successful teams like the Ajax team he's played in, like Uruguay, of course, who won the Copa America with Suarez at the forefront, they've always had to gamble on that, on which Suarez is going to turn up, because this is a player who does wear two masks.
Well, Liverpool were in a pretty fortuitous situation when they received £50 million for Fernando Torres, and although they wasted around 35 million of that on Andy Carroll and 25 million on Luis Suarez, they got an absolute bargain.
I don't think at the time Liverpool probably knew quite how big a gamble it would prove with Luis Suarez off the pitch anyway. He'd obviously had a history of biting a player. He'd stopped controversially a strike against Ghana with a hand. But at the same time, they thought they were buying a quality striker, which they were. I don't think even they anticipated what might happen outside of his playing abilities going forward.
From day one he arrived, he was something special. Everyone could see that. I knew him from the Dutch league, but I remember the first trainings. You know, a lot of people were impressed by him. You know, I spoke to Stevie or Kara. They were all really impressed by him, and he's improving every day. This lad is trying to make himself better every day in training, in everything he does. He wants to win.
Luis Suarez's playing abilities mark him out. For me, is probably the best striker in the world. You know, obviously Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they occupy different areas of the field. But for me, if you want a player in the penalty box and a guy to create and take chances, then it has to be Luis Suarez all day long.
His work rate is second to none. And I think he forces defenders into mistakes to turn the ball over quickly, which is a big part of Liverpool's game. And he also, you know, nicks the up ball where he takes advantage. He always anticipates what's gonna happen there. You see him, you know, anticipating back passes where he jumps in and beats a keeper and scores.
Defending starts up front, and that's what Suarez does. You know, and it takes a lot of pressure off the defenders, because you're putting pressure on. They can't get good balls into their forwards. They can't get good balls into their midfield, and that's a knock-on effect. Has a knock-on effect. So if the harder the forwards work, the easier it makes for the midfielders. The easier it makes for the defenders.
Away from the pitch, he is quite a humble guy. He's quite reserved. He's very close to his family. After the incident at the World Cup, the biting of Giorgio Chiellini, he sought refuge back in Uruguay with his family. He hid himself away, and a couple of days later, you know, he came clean and apologised. And having that sort of family unit around him certainly has helped to bring out the best of him from a football side of things. Definitely during his time at Liverpool. I mean, he's the consummate professional on the training ground. The relationship he has with a lot of the younger players at Liverpool, like John Flanagan, Raheem Sterling, Daniel Sturridge, that shows that he's more of a team player than people give him credit for. Some of the relationships he's struck up on the pitch this season have been crucial to the success that Liverpool have had.
Lo que obviamente que mi trabajo es venir acá a entrenar todos los días al club, el de jugar cada fin de semana y de entregarme por completo a mi trabajo que es el fútbol, ¿no? Pero valoro muchísimo el esfuerzo que hace mi familia de estar lejos de su familia, de que mi hija esté lejos de sus primos, de que mi señora esté lejos de sus padres, sus hermanos. Es algo que valoro mucho y por eso me gusta disfrutarlo fuera de la cancha. Disfruto muchísimo con ellos. Creo que para mí son un respaldo muy importante, porque la vida del jugador de fútbol no es solo dentro de la cancha, sino que tiene una vida afuera que el cual tiene que disfrutar, y eso es lo que más valoro.
I'm not necessarily sure whether this edge that people talk about marks Suarez out as a good player, or else if it's just a convenient excuse for when he misbehaves, because we have seen down throughout the years, yeah, every now and again, you know, a top class player goes off the rails a little bit, and I think with Suarez he's in danger now of wearing it as a badge that, you know, bad things are bound to happen with me on the field because I play my game so much on the edge. I don't think it would be beyond Suarez's mental capabilities to dial it down a little bit in order to, you know, continue his productivity output, but, you know, without that threat of violence every time he steps on the field.
I mean, to get an insight into Suarez's mind and how sort of single-minded he can be was after the whole racism affair with Patrice Evra had largely died down. On Liverpool's first visit back to Old Trafford after that event, he refused to shake Patrice Evra's hand because he was so convinced that really he'd done no wrong and the whole affair had been spun so negatively against him.
I could scarcely believe when I saw the replays of Suarez biting Ivanovic. And I say replays because, like almost everybody else, I missed it first time round until I saw Ivanovic's howls. You know, those gruesome howls in horror. I mean, for him to do it once on a pitch that was against PSV for Ajax was unthinkable. To do it twice, I mean, what kind of recidivist is he that he hasn't learned his lesson that you can't bite people on a football pitch? And it was totally horrific to see somebody behave like that on the pitch.
It was in a real low moment in that game. Afterwards, on the aftermath of that, he's gone away and probably looked in the mirror and reflected on himself, and because he's not that type of guy. He's a winner, and that just spilled over a little bit.
While FIFA decides what action to take over Luis Suarez's bite on Giorgio Chiellini, his Uruguayan teammates are pointing the finger of blame at the media.
The third biting incident with Giorgio Chiellini at the World Cup just gone by, the Uruguayan FA and the Uruguayan manager were very vociferous in sort of saying that this was a media storm cultivated by the English press.
He commits a crime like he has on the pitch during the World Cup, then also he has to he deserves his punishment in many ways, and I think the punishment he's been given this time is a big one, but it had to be big because he got given a big one last time and he still made the same mistake again. So the only way you put someone off or deter someone from doing it again is to give them a bigger punishment.
According to Barcelona, Luis Suarez is their player. Suarez has reportedly moved to the Catalan club from Liverpool for a fee believed to be £75 million. But it will be at least 4 months before fans can see him in action.
This is a new Barcelona that's been put together now for Luis Enrique to manage. You know, I think since the departure of Pep Guardiola, La Masia has sort of dried up and haven't really brought players through to supply the first team since Pedro and since Sergio Busquets. So now with bringing in players like Rakitic and obviously Suarez, they're going down a new route. They're going to have to bring in some superstar signings, one to assuage the fans and also to keep foot with Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And what you're getting with Luis Suarez is, for me, the best striker in the world, and he's going to be supplemented by Neymar, who's one of the most creative dribblers on the planet, and Messi, who's just probably, you know, second to Cristiano Ronaldo and the best player in the world stakes. So when you put that front three together, teams are going to have an awful lot of trouble because there's so many different threats contained in that. You know, Suarez is not a slight guy like Messi and Neymar. He's not going to get bullied the way certainly Neymar gets bullied. You know, he is probably the most pure striker out of the three. But if you've got Neymar dribbling on the left, Messi through the middle finding those through balls, and Suarez working as hard as he does, as relentlessly as he does, you know, Barcelona are going to take some stopping at that end of the field next season.